Can you folks hear me now? Oh, okay. Good evening. My name is Ronald Presner. I'm the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the town of Mount Pleasant, and I welcome you all this evening to our meeting. Before we start, let me first introduce the Oh, I got to get closer. I don't want to swallow this thing. First, let me introduce the members of our board. To my right is Mr. Nicholas DeChico. To my left is Kathy Grabowski. She's our secretary of the zoning board. To her immediate left is Herb Dorr, and at the far left is Mr. George Lapazos. We have 4 board members. You still can't hear me?
No, you want to talk out.
Very, very low. Oh, God. You got a megaphone? Okay. Is this thing on?
Yes. Try it.
Try. How do you?
No, just come from here. He's doing it.
I tried, but anyway, to give you an understanding of how we run our meeting, when your application is called, you'll come forward. I'll swear you in, and then I will read your application for the public record. Once that's done, I will then ask you some questions. Then it'll be opened up to the members of the board that they can ask questions to the applicant. And once that's finished, then we will ask if anyone is for or against an application. At that moment, when that's finished, the applicant is excused, and the board will then make a determination on that particular application. Since we have 4 members tonight, just to give you a heads up, if 2 of the board members vote against the application is denied. If it was a 5-member board like we normally would have, if 3 voted against it. So I just want to give you folks a heads up on that. But before we start the applications for this evening, we have to bring our board into an executive session. So you folks will have to bear with me for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll then start the proceedings. All right? Are we all set to go to executive session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive session.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Mr. Dorr.
Aye.
Aye. Present. Right.
I know I clicked it.
I hope nobody's fixing my car outside. The first application for tonight is 25-56, Enza Materia. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. I'm William Besharat, representing the owner. Enzo Materia is here.
Raise your right hand. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. This is the property owned by Enza Materia. It's located at 385 Columbus Avenue in Valhalla.
Correct.
Designated on the tax map as 89/112.19-1-32. The application is for a proposed demolition of an existing deck, construction of a new deck to the rear of an existing single-family dwelling in a parcel of 20,000 plus square feet in an R20 zone. Rear yard setback, 50 feet is required. Existing is 46, you're proposing 39, need 11 foot.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, we were here at the last meeting, and there was some discussions, and there was suggestion from the board that if we can cut the deck back a little bit to reduce the nonconformity and reduce the amount of variance that we are asking for. And I discussed it with the owner, and they agreed to it. And we submitted revised drawings. Now, we were able to cut down approximately 3.5 feet of the deck without removing the girders. You know, we spoke about it originally to bring it down to where the stairs are, and we tried that, but because of the location of the girder and the columns, we could not do that. So we did, instead of cutting it 5 feet, we ended up cutting it 3.5 feet, and that reduced the nonconformity. So we looked
Can you just
at
tell me about how long, 3.5 wide by, do you know about how long?
19.7.
19 foot 7. 19 foot 7. The cutting down, and you know, that will be the only question that we have here is that is that doable? Yes, absolutely doable. The house, I'm sure members of the board have been to the house and saw the setting. You know, my client is in the landscape business, and he keeps the place immaculately landscaped, and they have a very mature trees and a buffer between them and the neighbors. The proposed, or the deck that was built, or the deck that was rebuilt, and I'm going to emphasize that the last time I said it, it's the building inspector can look out of his window and see them doing construction. So there was no malicious intention. They thought that he can just rebuild the deck, and somehow, of course, it gets bigger. And the conformity existed, and now they're trying to go through it. If to cut down that deck, it's really an expensive gesture. Well, you know, are they willing to do it? Yes, they are. But it's going to be costly, time and money. There is no impact on the neighbors, and Mr. Materia already, they spoke to their neighbors. They get along very well with the neighbors, and you know, they have a nice, tight community in the area. And they all, none of them, at least the people that he spoke to, had any objection to it whatsoever. And they say, you know, like, whatever you need support, we are okay with it. In order for him to go cut the deck already have waterproofing at the bottom, so it's going to be really a big effort to remove it. That will create kind of a hardship, financial hardship. Again, you know, is it doable? Yes, it's doable. So we ask in this board to probably see if we can stick with the original variance that we had asked for at the very original meeting. But we have submitted an alternative to help the board make the decision.
267B is the state law that allows the zoning board of appeals to analyze every application, and every application is different. The homeowner put up a deck without a building permit,
Correct.
okay? And I believe the guy before him,
No.
no, okay.
He built this house.
I stand correct. No,
He
I
built
just-
this house. He had the house built.
Okay.
And he had a deck. There was a big deck in the backyard, and it fell apart after all these years, and eventually had to be reconstructed.
Yeah, but for all these years, he had an illegal deck in his backyard.
No, the
Yes.
deck was legal. Was built with a building permit. The original deck was built with a building permit.
It was.
Yes.
All right. The thing is, and when was that deck built?
What year was the house? In the year 2000. Yeah, the house with the deck were built in the year 2000.
Personally, hardship is self-created,
Correct.
okay? Does it have an effect on the neighborhood or your neighbors? Maybe, maybe not. The character of the area? Maybe,
There's
maybe
no
not.
change on that.
But the fact of the matter is, you're putting up a new deck, and he decided to put it up himself. And he's a landscape person.
Well,
Now, a
had
landscape
started
person would
working
know,
too.
if you want to put up a retaining wall on somebody's garden, you got to get a permit. You got to do this, you need a permit. So the fact that it was his house, he didn't need a permit. Right?
No,
Yeah.
he thought he was reconstructing an existing deck, okay? Like I said, it literally, the building department can look out of their window and see their
The telephone call. The
The-
telephone
is
call
he at
goes
fault?
out.
Yes, he
Well,
is.
you wouldn't be here.
I'm not
If he made
defending
a, if telephone call was made, can I do this? All right? And then they could go through the normal channels between the planning board, the building department, and if there had to be a variance or something, can come to us. I think going in with the new submitted plans would be something I would be more in favor of.
Okay.
All right? I have no further questions myself, Mr. DeChico.
I would have a comment, Mr. Chairman. To me, if this application, or if the original application had come to us prior to the rebuild, in my experience and history with this board, I think we would have been very unlikely to have granted the deck to the size that was built without permission. Therefore, I don't believe allowing the applicant to go back to his original deck that's already built is appropriate. And I do think that the board is conceding somewhat in that the amount of deck that we're asking to cut out, we are being at least aware of the fact that if we had made him go down any more, then that would have even been a far greater cost, because you've had to change around much more of the structural integrity of the deck. So I believe that this is a healthy balance between finding the right solution here, not affording the applicant too much of a benefit for doing something without permission, but not unnecessarily punishing him either.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Mr. Dorr?
I just need some clarification here. So, obviously, there was a deck built when the house was built,
Correct.
and if I'm correct, it was 2000.
In the year 2000, yes.
Okay. So, the existing deck was of what size?
It was pretty substantial. I think the boundaries of it were the existing girders here and here were part,
Well,
were
it
part of
wasn't
it.
the same
But I
exact-
think it was within the setbacks.
So, it wasn't the same size?
No,
as what's
it was
currently
smaller.
there?
It was smaller, yes.
So, he did expand. It wasn't like
Correct.
something was built back then?
Correct.
Within the requirements? I have
yeah,
no further questions.
I just want to make the record clear with respect to our application of the factors. I know there was some comment made during the last meeting session that we had, which I think went through some more of the details, but just in terms of the impact on the character of the neighborhood, we don't, as Mr. Pacheco said, we don't look at applications for variances of the significance the original application set forth favorably in terms of setbacks with respect to neighboring properties. So the original application, I thought that the significance of the size did produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, which is softened by the reduction in the size of the deck,
Okay.
and we favorably view that. Clearly, based upon the reasonable concession that your clients made, you can achieve the result that you sought, which was to make use of this rear area of the property with the deck that allows for egress right from the house on the second floor, with a deck that's less wide as opposed to the original. Obviously, it's self-created. The deck was completely built anew, so that didn't need to be done if the applicant had not erected it. Whether or not the proposed variance is substantial, it was more substantial in the original submission. As I said, I do find
We
that the
reduced it.
accommodation that's been made to be reasonable.
Good.
I don't think it's as substantial now, and for those reasons, I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
I have no other questions.
Okay. Is there anyone here for or against this application? No? Does the board wish to make a determination?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve application Z-25-56 based upon the application and materials currently submitted under the amended plan.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Dorr. Mr. Lepantos?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye, carried 4-0.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
You have a great evening.
All right.
Thank you for your, bye-bye.
Right. Next application is 2528, Linda Whitehead. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Linda Whitehead. I'm an attorney with the firm of McCullough, Goldberger, and Stout. I assume you don't need to swear me since
Politicians, we do all the time. This is the applicant is for the Jewish Child Care Association. Premises are located at 1075 Broadway in Pleasantville, correct?
Correct.
And it's designated on the tax map as 106.11-1-21. You still can't hear me?
No, you're gonna talk.
Jesus. We got a great sound system. We're going to have to work a new one into the budget next year. I'm ready to swallow this damn
No,
thing.
you might have to bring it closer.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. All right.
All right, we're working on it.
It's a progressive thing. So it's designated as the tax map as 106.11-1-21. This application is submitted for an appeal of the building inspector's determination that a health center is a prohibited use within the R20 zoning district pursuant to Town Code 21845, parochial and private elementary schools, high schools, and colleges.
Can you please speak louder?
I can't speak any louder. You guys gotta,
May I suggest that you could also try and move up if you're having trouble hearing the back row. There's plenty of room in the rows up front as well.
what's going?
Move your
Switch?
Two mics on.
Can you hear me now?
No.
All right. How does this one work? Does this one work better? Okay.
Talk. Okay.
I'm going to come home tonight, and I won't even say good evening to my wife. I'm going to sound like the Godfather by the time I'm finished. So what you want to do is what?
So thank you. If I could just have a few minutes to just sort of explain to the board, because this is a little out of your norm. This is not a simple variance application. This is an application for an interpretation to determine whether the determination that's made by the building inspector is correct. So again, I'm here representing JCCA, the owner of the property at 1075 Broadway. It's operated as a residential treatment center, has been for over 100 years. It was the first cottage-style treatment center actually in the country. With me this evening, I have the board president, Wendy Kleinman, board member David Peretz, the new CEO, of the JCCA, Anne Marie Scalia, and then the Chief Program Officer, Deborah Falk, and Chief Administrative Officer, Ken Shee. We thought it would be helpful in case there was any questions to have some of the operational people and some of the clients here. Approximately 1 year ago, JCCA approached the town with a request to construct a new building to house what it's being referred to as the health center. The building will house medical and behavioral health services. The plan was to take some existing operations, some of which are currently located in a health center building that's over 100 years old, some of which are located elsewhere on the site, and consolidate them into this new building. The new building would consolidate these into a modern facility, which would be ADA compliant, and I'll explain some details of the new building later. But it would better serve the population. Right now, these services are scattered around the site a little bit, not ADA compliant, and really are difficult to work in the way things work today. So again, we're here appealing the determination from the building inspector, which indicates that a health center is a prohibited use. His letter doesn't expand on that, so there's not a lot of reasoning there. So we've tried to sort of address what we think his position is and why we think it's incorrect. But a reminder, when you're interpreting a zoning code, zoning is in derogation of the common law. And as such, where there's any ambiguity in interpreting a zoning ordinance, it's to be decided in favor of the property owner. So if there's any question here about, is the code clear, the law requires that it be interpreted in favor of the property owner. I actually don't think it's that unclear, and we'll get to that as I go through this. So to summarize the reasons why we think the building inspector's interpretation is not correct, we're not proposing a separate health center. The use is not a standalone use. It's not actually a new proposed use. It's not even the proposed use. The use of the property isn't changing. The use of the property is a residential treatment center. It's part of the long-time use that's been there on this property. As we set forth in our letter, it's not a standalone medical use. It serves only the residents of the treatment center, does not serve members of the general public. It's staffed and operated as part of the institutional program. It exists solely to advance the therapeutic and rehabilitative mission of the residential treatment center. It has no independent signage or public access separate from the rest of the facility. It's just part of the campus and the overall use. It's an incidental and integral part of the principal residential treatment use. Second, we're not proposing any actual change in the use of the property. As I said, the medical and behavioral health sciences have been part of this use since at least the 1920s. If you look on the JCCA website, there's a history there, and it talks about behavioral health services being added in the 1920s. It's right there. It's embedded in their mission is to meet the child welfare and mental health needs of the children. We actually came across just this week a book on the history of JCCA, which has some rather interesting information about how this facility was the first in the country and really the first to develop, including treating the mental health and behavioral health of the children on the property as part of this kind of residential treatment center. So it had some really interesting statements about how this was really pioneering. So I think there's been some question about whether this particular, the treatment of the medical and behavioral health provisions, were always part of this use, or if they were something that had been added in more recent times. So we're telling you it's not. It's always been there, and if it's okay, I'd like to hand up some copies of this. I didn't want to make a late submission. It only says what I've just told you.
Right.
But it's just some more proof, in addition to what's already on the website, that talks about these services existing back in the 20s, as long ago as that. And again, the addition of the psychologist and psychiatrists on site in the 20s related to the addition at that time of what were referred to as disturbed children and the need to treat them. It was actually, again, had the first psychiatric clinic in any American child care institution and really became a model for what happened going forward. And again, this is important to show that the services that are proposed to now be put into this new building existed on the campus as part of the use prior to zoning existing in the town. Third, and it's a little bit of a repeat, the uses, again, to be relocated are not new. They're not a separate use being added. They're a typical and customary part of a residential treatment center use and needed to treat the medical and behavioral needs of the residents. So again, the building inspector seems to have framed this as if this was a separate use, whether we were adding something new and that it was a standalone use. It's not a use. It's part of the existing use. A little bit of additional history. Again, the residential treatment center was established here in 1912. These uses go back to the 20s, long before the adoption of zoning. Over the years, the town has granted a number of approvals to allow new buildings to be constructed, new facilities to be constructed. Some of that information was provided to you. But something that is important, and this takes us back to the zoning code, is that the zoning code, section 21885, reads, any use lawfully existing at the time of the adoption of these regulations or any amendment thereto, in the district in which such use is classified herein as a special use, shall, without further action, be deemed to be a conforming use in such district. This was also cited in my letter. Any extension of or addition to such use shall meet all requirements of the regulations. So what that means is that if this use could now be classified as a special permit use under the code, that it's not even considered a non-conforming use. It's considered conforming. And additions can be made as long as they comply with the requirements of the code. So in relation to approvals that the town has granted over the years, it's a little bit of inconsistency. In 2016, there was an application for a new dormitory building. At that time, the town planner indicated that the use did fall under one of the special permit uses. He said it was a parochial and private elementary school, high school, and college, which is a permitted special permit use in the R20 district. And the application was approved in accordance with that. I don't really agree with that. If you go back to 2002, our firm actually represented JCCA in an application to construct some new staff housing. I worked with the then building inspector and town attorney on this issue, and they agreed at that time that it fell under the religious, charitable, or eleemosynary use, which is also, and I learned to pronounce that word when I did this application. And that's under 28551 of the code, also a special permit use in the R20 district. So either way, it falls under that section, which says that if it's a special permit use under the code today and it existed beforehand, it's deemed conforming, and you can add to it and modify it as long as you comply with the code. So you can build new buildings as long as they meet the requirements of the code. And that's the way the town has treated this property in the past. So again, as we set forth in our letter and in the mission statement, facilities for the medical and behavioral health of the residents is an essential component of this use. Providing up-to-date facilities, provide proper space for therapeutic and counseling services, as well as to meet the medical needs of the residents. Combining the uses into one space will help to better serve the residents. And when they can better serve the residents, it better serves the town. Anything that can improve the operations on this campus and the way the children are treated and the services available to the children can be beneficial for the town. And we know that the town has had issues with this use in the facility in the past. We're trying to help that. And we think that this new building can help to do that. So that's why we're looking to do this. We think that under the code, it is permitted. We disagree with the building inspector. We think it's actually very clear that this is an existing use. We're just moving it in the campus. The use is a conforming use. We're allowed to build a new building. We're not adding anything. Again, when you're interpreting zoning, zoning laws are in derogation of the common law and have to be interpreted in favor of the property owner if there's any question. So with that, I think I'm happy to answer any questions. Pretty much everything I've said here was also in the submissions that have been made, but I thought it would be helpful to walk through it.
This, the existing building is an infirmary,
So
hospital?
it's not a
Define.
hospital. There's a building, it's a 100-year-old building on the site where they do have or have housed a lot of these services, not all of them. Some of them have been in some other locations on the site, but the building is not accessible, it's not modern. The new building will be sustainable, it'll be energy efficient, it'll be ADA compliant. The way therapy is done has changed. It will have appropriate spaces for providing therapeutic services. So again, it's really designed to better serve the population on the property.
What is the size of the existing building, roughly? Square footage?
It also housed some offices. It wasn't only this use, so
So it's a multi-use building?
as are a lot of the buildings on the campus.
Okay.
Chance to-
The only,
I can get an answer.
I'm trying to get a clearer definition. You know, you go in a public school, you have a nurse, and you have a room set aside in case a student gets hurt or has a problem. Is this a very similar type of application that you have now existing?
So it's similar, except that this is a residential facility. So this
Now, whether it's residential or not, is it that type of a facility? Meaning, is
Yes.
it a facility that a student has a
Yes.
problem, gets hurt, or a
Yes.
student needs
Yes.
medication?
Yes, and it's for their medical needs. Some of the students take medications, they go there to get their medications. It's also used for behavioral therapies. So they will have therapy sessions with counselors or psychologists. And so it's both medical and mental behavioral health.
Now, you have another facility over there off of Bradhurst, I believe? There's another facility, it was can't think of the name of it right now. There's another, which was, Cedar Knolls.
Cedar Knolls, this has nothing.
It's a different one entirely.
Yeah, totally different.
All right, so yours is a totally independent,
Yes.
with no subsidiaries within this town?
No, Cedar Knolls is completely separate. This site has, the residential treatment center is made up of sort of two. It's got the Edenwald campus and the Pleasantville Cottage School campus. They're similar. Some of the children at Edenwald have some different issues and are treated a little bit differently. There's also the special act school that the legislature created, which exists on the property, which is run separately. And the students, some of the students who reside on the property go to that school. There's also students from outside who go to that school. That is created by the state, a special act school district.
So just to, my final question, so you have both residential students and you also have outside students coming
The
to
outside
Duffy?
students are not part of JCC's.
They're not just part of JCC, they're
Correct.
strictly within the confines of the property.
Correct. The outside students are coming to the special act school, Pleasantville Cottage School, which is not run by JCCA. It's
Okay.
run by school board. It's a regular school district.
You have to forgive me,
That's okay.
you had a mouthful that you gave me, and I'm trying to digest some of it as best I can. I have no further questions, Mr. DeChico.
So if a student that's attending the cottage school gets sick or scrapes themselves, is a separate nurse or office that they would go to other than the current infirmary that
Yeah,
we've been
I
referring
mean,
to?
if they're a resident, if they live on the campus, they could go to the, infirmary on the campus.
So where would
But if-
somebody go who's just there for
I
the day?
assume.
If you're a student on the campus.
She needs to come up.
Yeah, she has to
Wendy,
be
can you-
sworn.
So this is Wendy Kleiman, who is the president of the board. She also sits on the school district for the,
I also said, right, I'm on the
You
school
have to
board
swear
as
in.
well.
You have to get sworn.
Sorry.
My father always said, be careful of slow horses and fast women. You're too fast for me.
Sorry.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So help me
And
God.
your name and position?
Wendy Kleiman, board president, JCCA.
Okay, thank
And
you.
school board member.
Okay.
If you are a
So yeah,
student,
walk me through one of the students at Pleasantville Cottage
if
School.
you are a
gets
student
sick,
that
what do they do?
lives on campus and you get hurt while you're in school, you go to the school nurse like any other school. Even if you were living anywhere, you go to the school nurse. If you are a student and you have an earache or you need your medication, you would go to our health center. If you are a day student and you come to
And
school,
those are two separate,
those are two separate things.
like
If you
physical buildings and structures.
if you are a day student and you do not live on our campus, but you go to our special act school and you get sick at school, they call your parent and your parent comes to pick them up. If you get a cut and fall on the playground, you go to the school nurse. There are two schools on campus. Both schools have infirmaries with school nurses. This is a separate issue. This is for the health and wellness of the kids living on campus. That is it.
Okay. So you said that there's two schools on campus, there's two separate infirmaries, right? Did I hear that right?
school nurse.
Two
School nurses.
Two separate buildings, two separate offices, physically separated to the common eye would be totally different.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the infirmary that we're speaking about is one of those two, or
It is a
it's
different building.
Different. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
The school nurse, the infirmaries are like in every other school where you go to the school nurse and you get your lice checked and
So-
your
so-
tooth falls out or whatever
So
happens.
as currently situated, the infirmary, and I'll just use that term for lack of a better term, if we go, just use that term for tonight.
Fair.
Okay. The infirmary that's at issue here, can you walk me through exactly what types of services are there? I've heard generally that there's a medication and therapy, so could you walk me through in a little more detail exactly what types of services somebody would get? Right.
Nick, how about we enhance that by describing what we all have? I mean, you have Eden Mall,
Anyway,
Cottage School,
Testimony you're about to
special
give is the
ed.
truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And you are?
Deb Falk, the Chief Program Officer for JCCA.
Okay.
I think Mr.
Continue.
Dormer had a question to add on.
How about we start out this way? Because we have a large audience, there's a lot of people obviously listening to this through that camera. Can you describe, when you go on that campus, you have the Eden Wall School, you have the Cottage School, I think there's a misunderstanding of how all those interact together and how, I mean, you're talking about, 1912, this started, and now we have a new school district that's in there that state created that was picked into so there's three entities. I mean, I'm a little bit more privileged than I'm a former fire chief, and I've responded to a lot of stuff there. So I have a little better understanding of the complexities.
Okay, so we represent JCCA. JCCA is the Residential Treatment Center. JCCA has two programs, the Edenwald Center, which you've heard about, Pleasantville Cottage, and the youth that live on the campus there are seen in the infirmary. That infirmary covers their medical, their psychiatric, their mental health, behavioral health needs. And that's what we're talking about that there is a 100-year-old building that is not up to ADA standards, is not modernized to support that. So this use, we're talking about for its current use, but a modern, to serve the kids on the campus. Going to answer the question about the school districts, the schools exist to actually serve JCCA youth. So the schools were created and designed by the state. They're separate entities outside of JCCA, and they educate the youth on their campus. We don't run those schools, and the example that Ms. Kleiman gave was just like our kids go to school. If they're sick or ill, they go see the school nurse. If they're outside students, they're seeing that school nurse. They're not seeing the JCCA infirmary. And if their parent has to pick them up, their parent has to pick them up. JCCA is not serving outside youth in our infirmaries.
So, one of the youth that's part of the residential component or part of the RTC, they need their daily medication, whatever, they would go to the infirmary that's at issue.
That's correct.
If they have a cold or a headache and they need Tylenol, they go to the infirmary that we're speaking about.
Yes.
If they're having their weekly individual therapy with a counselor or some type of behavioral, or some type of group counseling session with that, those are the types of things that would take place in the infirmary
Yes.
that we're speaking
That we're
of tonight.
speaking about,
Okay.
yes.
So, and that's as constituted now. So my question is, if you were able to build the building that you're trying to build, I would assume that all of those things would also be in that new building, correct?
Yes.
And what, if any, additional services beyond what you just talked about would be planned for the new building?
We're not adding services, we're improving the quality of our physical plant and the spaces for the youth.
Would you be serving, would there be any difference in the numbers of students that would be served or anything of that nature?
No, it's be our current census.
In our materials, we talk about the fact that this would not increase the population. We're not looking to do anything that would increase the population on the campus.
Mr. Dorr?
If everything's being centralized, which is the way I'm thinking about it, because I'm also a physical therapist with another hat, so I understand where you're coming from on the development and all that services from that standpoint. Where are they all being serviced now? If this room isn't sufficient, is it in different buildings on campus all around?
Yes.
Okay, and if this building was, the magic Tinkle Wand came out, is approved, what happens to the old building?
We're not sure yet. They're going to analyze whether they need it for there are some administrative offices in that building today, and always have been. It's been a shared space, as we discussed. So they are analyzing.
So currently, there is no real set plan, other than to make it, there's obviously some type of a plan on the type of building and what's needed within that building.
Yes.
Okay, including the environmental, et cetera, et cetera. There was also mention through the process of a fitness center, because we're using terminology that I think can be very confusing, the wellness into fitness.
So the title of the building, it's more of a modern language, it's behavioral health and wellness, and that is just kind of the coined term. You know, it's
not
old is new
fitness.
again, it's not
So
fitness.
it's not like you're
So
recreating a gym that's on
No,
campus or anything
behavioral
like that.
health refers to mental health, that's really.
I'm just for the
oh, sorry.
record
Yes.
clarifying that, you know, you're not putting a gym like
No.
the schools have currently type thing. Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Lepatos?
Yeah, I just wanted to develop the record some more in terms of an understanding of exactly what the structure that exists now and the structure that's proposed. So could we get, what is the square footage of the current structure?
I don't have the square footage.
And do you know that? We
don't
don't
know.
know that off the top of our head.
Uh,
I apologize.
Is
We can
the
try to
new
get you
structure
that.
larger?
No. Is the new structure larger? You gotta come up,
You gotta
Ken.
come
That's why they're all here.
Nice and
All right.
easy, don't know.
Sorry, raise your
Have all
hand.
name.
Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Your name?
My name is Ken Shea. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of the JCCA.
Okay.
Could you rephrase the question again, just to,
I just wanted to get first an understanding of the structure that exists now and its size.
So we will get you the square footage, but the current infirmary is only on the first floor. There are offices for some of the clinicians on the second and I believe third floors. But the kids spend most of their time on the first floor, and I believe that the net square footage of the new space also includes the second infirmary as well. So there are currently 2 infirmaries on the campus. There's one on the PCS side that we're talking about right now, but also on the Edenwall side, there's a very small infirmary as well. So we're trying to push all those together.
Okay, so the structure that exists now, you're only utilizing one floor of it for the health services? Do you want to sit down?
No, I'm fine.
But, well,
Listen, I didn't need replacement
some of
surgery
the
myself.
clinicians
Yeah, no, it's not
You can sit down, it's perfectly
I
fine.
appreciate it. No, thank you.
I understand.
Some of
Yes.
the clinicians have offices.
They have
on the second floor,
offices,
So they would
yeah.
be staying in the new building.
Yeah.
So if we were to try to ascertain how much space is being utilized for the health services currently in the structure that exists, how many offices is it? How many rooms is it? I mean, if I can't get square footage, can I at least get an understanding of how many rooms you're utilizing?
I would have to go back, get the plans, and we can submit those. The layout's a little bit convoluted because it includes a lot of like nursing area and stuff like that, and it's a little bit windy. But there are a couple of treatment rooms in the back, and we'll provide the square
Right.
footage and plans
Let me just
Yeah,
understand
the
that
plans
the
are
new
still
structure.
preliminary, but
for the
The
old
new-
one.
Am I allowed to say something?
Yeah. You've been sworn in, or sworn out, whichever one.
Yeah, so
you want.
we talked about the existing use being an older, almost 100-year-old building. And if you think about the early usage of, serving youth and children, and you think about when I spoke earlier about your kids going to school and seeing the school nurse, the old infirmary brings back memories of like a camp nurse's office, right? And that's not what we have today. I know, Ms. Stewart, that you're in the fire
I
department.
hear what you're saying.
So what we're trying to do is improve and enhance what we already have, the physical plant. Instead of having it be piecemealed into offices all over, centralizing it into something that can really help the youth, right? So there'd be solid, therapy spaces, comfort rooms, our infirmary, our medical staff, just a higher quality service. That's what we're looking to provide. So I just thought
But
that.
you understand, like, we're not examining the laudable benefits of this new structure. Like, it may be wonderful, and it may provide wonderful things. That's not at all what we're addressing.
Understood.
That's not at all what the building department's previous determination was based upon or geared toward. So, I'm not in any way questioning whether or not this is going to be a huge improvement.
so I'm sorry.
So what I just want to get to is, again, just an understanding of
In terms
exactly.
of the space issues, the question really here is the use.
I know what the questions I have, but I want to examine
The question
those.
that's before you, and the issue that the building inspector raised had to do with the use, not necessarily the size of the space.
Exactly, exactly. So let's get some more
So, but
information
I guess
about the
I'm just
use.
trying to understand, we're happy to talk about this.
That's what I
I'm
wanna
just trying
talk
to
about.
understand
Yeah,
about why
that'd
the
be great.
size of the use.
So I thought I was.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
first I want to understand, how much bigger is the new structure over the old structure? Is it,
So you can't
Larger?
compare apples to apples because, again, there's also an infirmary because there's not enough space. There's an infirmary for the Edenwald campus because the other one is very far away from Edenwald. So this one becomes more central to be able to serve both parts of the campus in a single building. So you're combining different spaces. So
I understand
it's
that.
not building to building.
I understand that. I'm just trying to get an understanding of exactly what the new structure is going to entail in terms of its size. And then I want to address how it's going to be utilized. You want to go away from size because that seems to be an uncertainty. So let's go to the use. How many offices, medical service treatment offices, behavioral science observation offices, how many offices or rooms are going to be in the new structure?
So we would have to submit those
Yeah,
plans, but I was gonna say, we're building for what we have now. We're looking to replace like for like of our size. So if we're looking at plant,
Yeah, again, we're not increasing the population. We're trying-
All right.
Let me answer your question. If,
Consolidated.
we're happy, again, the plans are preliminary. We would have to go for site plan approval to the planning board, assuming we get past this stage. But if it would be helpful, we can submit the preliminary plans to you.
See, what I'm trying to develop is an understanding of whether or not the use of the property currently is going to be changed by the proposed structure and the use that you're going to be serving through that structure.
Right? That is not
So-
the intention.
I understand that not the intention, but it may be the fact that's developed from this record. If we can get some more information, that would help us, I think, understand whether or not it is actually a change in use. And my suspicion is that it's going to take an examination of several details about this new proposed structure and how you plan to use it for me to be able to make that decision. Now, the first thing that stood out to me when I read your letter was that currently the health services that are being provided on the campus are only for residents of the facility that's in Pleasantville. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So the proposed use for the new structure would not only include that population, but it would also include the Edenwald
No,
students.
Edenwald is part of the campus. It's all part of the same,
So is the Edenwald student population currently being served by the facility that's
Yes.
in place now?
yes, Edenwald is on the campus. It's part of the campus.
So the only students who would be treated at the new facility would be the same exact population of students that are currently treated by the existing facility?
Correct.
Okay. So with respect to the nature of the services, previously, currently, you offer medical treatment for medication distribution. Was that one of the things you indicated?
Yes.
I guess immediate need medical care before a
Primary.
doctor or a hospitalization might be necessary? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Primary care and, case management.
Okay, so it's really just, in effect, like a triage sort of situation where if there's serious medical needs, they're not
No, they're
taken
gonna
care of
West
on
Coast
site.
Medical- yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have near hospitals and,
Yeah, yeah.
and we have facilities for that. So there's no long-term stays anticipated for any of the patients that would be treated, the students.
Correct.
Okay. So you're providing a behavioral treatment at that facility as well currently?
Yes,
Okay. And the new facility would also provide behavioral treatment?
yes.
Okay. So as it stands right now, the current facility is inadequate simply because it's old and doesn't have ADA compliance? Is that,
It's not
A fair
just
assessment.
ADA compliance, it's the
but you
way-
kept referencing that over and over. I got to feel that that was like a big
That is-
focus of
that
the
is-
new.
it is a big
I
piece
have
of it.
problems getting up the stairs.
Okay, so to make the existing structure ADA compliant wouldn't necessarily require that much alteration. I mean, to put ramps in, to do something that would make it compliant, wouldn't be a significant amount of construction. It wouldn't be a significant expense.
Have elevators. I mean,
It's,
It would-
Yeah.
It's inside, that's.
yeah, it's not just the access into the building, it's inside the building. It also wouldn't solve the problem of it being further from the students that reside at Edenwald.
But they're on the same campus.
Yes,
yes.
but that's why there's a separate infirmary right now at Edenwald, because of the distance and not wanting to have them go all the way through.
What's the distance?
It's 160, 150 acres, so
It's a large
it's a
campus.
little bit of a hike to walk, so if the kids need to go from one side to the other, they will need a vehicle.
So, but there's vehicles on campus that are available for that purpose?
There are some, yes.
Okay. So a student could be transported from the Edenwald side to the Pleasantville Cottage side? if
That's what's
right?
happening now because we're not using the health center currently as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the transportation issue isn't really a problem. The nature of the services currently available at the current facility isn't really a problem. I mean, all those things are being provided for now. So the new facility is really designed to modernize, to
Yes.
make it,
It would also be a more sustainable, energy-efficient building compared to a 100-year-old
centralized,
building.
yeah.
More centralized location, ADA compliant. The layout of the rooms, the examination rooms, the therapy rooms, you're basically dealing with an office building that's not designed for this particular.
Okay, so tell me about the differences. What are the rooms that are going to be in the new facility that don't exist in the existing facility?
It's not that they don't exist, it's that we're currently using an antiquated space that doesn't really fully allow for some of the equipment that's required. And that would be, you know,
Equipment for,
like exam tables, you know.
but this is really just a triage location. I mean, again,
We-
hospitals,
We,
can you let?
we provide
Understand,
primary
understand,
care.
okay.
We provide physicals for youth, we provide their primary care. So we are currently using an antiquated building, which is very small, the doorways are small, the entire infrastructure doesn't support, you know, I just went to my primary care physician yesterday and was, you know, thinking about this and was really just struck again by the difference of how you go in and you register and the type of windows and glass that you see when you come through, how you'd be triaged in to go talk to a medical provider. And that's what we're looking to do in a centralized way within the same usage.
Yeah. I'm not questioning the benefit of having a more modern facility. I'm just trying to determine whether or not you're changing the use of health service provision on the campus with the new facility.
There is no change proposed.
Except that it sounds like there's a lot of changes, but I'm just trying to understand
Not
what
in
they
the
are.
services, just in how they are provided, in terms of being provided more the way these services are provided today.
All right,
The
so let me-
services are not changing.
let me
The
cut to
same
it.
services will be provided.
Are they offering additional examination rooms in the new facility? Is there an increased number of examination rooms?
I think we'd have to show
Yeah,
the
we'd have
plans.
to-
Is there an increased number of treatment rooms?
We'd have to show the plans.
Yeah.
Is
But
there?
that
an-
doesn't necessarily mean it's a change. That it could be
I
that they
didn't
don't
say
have
anything
adequate-
necessarily, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get facts out. You understand, I'm just asking for facts. And if they're not available, I get that, we can come back and you could maybe have them next time. But all I'm asking for is facts right now. I haven't drawn any conclusions yet, but,
But
go ahead.
if there were, making up a number here, 5 treatment rooms, and then there are 6, that still doesn't change the use of the land, correct?
You're asking me to make a conclusion, I'm just trying to get facts. Are there more treatment rooms in the new facility?
I don't have those
Okay.
plans.
Are there more examination rooms in the new facility?
I don't have the information. It won't be more treatments, we're consolidating.
It's,
Yeah, well, but yeah.
we
I'll
might
look at the
benefit from
total.
having,
Yeah.
having an opportunity to have you folks come back. I think that maybe an opportunity to maybe examine the proposal and determine exactly what it's going to involve, what it's going to entail. Because I'm not getting a satisfactory understanding of what the new structure is going to entail.
Yeah, I guess we didn't look at it in terms of the size, we looked at it in terms of the use, and as we've said
but
repeatedly, the uses are not changing.
That's a conclusion again, and that's why, again, what we have to do is we have to develop facts first, then we can reach a conclusion whether or not it is a change in use. But we can't just, I'm not going to make a determination
room
whether or not the
doesn't-
use is different simply because you're suggesting that it's the same.
The number of rooms doesn't create the use. It could be there's not enough rooms today, so maybe we're gonna put more rooms so people don't have to wait in a waiting area.
Maybe, but we don't know how many rooms there are, so I guess we'll have to wait till the next meeting when you have answers to those questions.
Can I make a suggestion? You have one of the plans for the existing building?
I don't know
Floor
if there's a
plans?
plan for, it's a 100-year-old building. I don't
You
know
have,
if
you have to have a
there's plan.
floor plan,
Do you know if it- We'll
yeah.
look.
And you also should have
We have preliminary plans.
preliminary plans. Let me finish. The fact is, we can do a comparison of what exists now as compared to what you want to do. Because what's going on is we're having redefining definitions of what is this and what is that. But to look at the physical structure and see, that's my background, okay? But what I'm interested in is, you can make it ADA, you can make any building ADA compliant, depends on how much money you want to spend, okay? But you have an existing building, and are you going to keep that existing building? Are you going to modify it to make it ADA for the future, for some other expanded use? Or are you going to take this new building, and you have start working with that and demolish the old building. These are questions, just because a building's 100 years old doesn't mean it's no good.
If I may make a comment, sometimes we use extreme examples just to illustrate a point. And so I understand what you're saying is you're putting forth that the use is going to be the same. It would be a new building, probably slightly bigger, but you're not changing any of the use. And you're just saying that, and I understand that. But size could factor in. Let's just say, for example, take an extreme example. Let's say the building you were proposed to build was 20 times the size of what you have, right? I'm not saying that it is, but let's just say it is. That would lead to questions. Well, you're saying it's the same use, but you're building something 20 times as big as what you have. So what are you really using that extra space for? And again, it's an extreme example to illustrate a point. So which is why I agree with my colleague that I would like to at least see a few more details as to what exactly it is you're planning to build. So we can make a better interpretation if we feel the use is actually consistent with what you have now, or perhaps not.
Thank you.
See, I believe there's,
Mr. Chairman?
like you have justice in the law, you have the idea of ideas and application. You can always move a pencil around, but you can't move steel girders around. So the idea at this point would be to take a comparative study of the two structures, and based on that, come to some sort of analyzed conclusion as to what the application is going to be for. My suggestion for this evening, I would adjourn it, hold over, and come back next month.
Mr. Chairman, can I add something in before you?
Sure, I'm sorry.
Because I know where you're going to go with that. I think what it also would benefit, I mean, my two colleagues, I understand what they're talking about, space, size. Usage, which you let me finish now too. If I practice physical therapy the way 40 years ago when I came out of NYU, and I practice it now in a building from 40 years ago, I understand where you're coming from. I think there's also, I don't want to say misunderstanding, but if you can clarify the use, forget about the physical structure right now, what the uses are when you talk about behavioral science, because we're talking about two different animals in the way I want to present this, of the infirmary of we go to the school nurse, and that medical aspect is totally different than the behavioral sciences of what that facility is primarily doing. And I think we're getting stuck in the weeds on an infirmary, using that word, which can go back to World War I plus, to current times, and looking at buildings, and then also throwing on to my colleague's point of the ADA, and I do ADA renovations on homes. So I know you can take an existing structure and renovate it. Is that beneficial? That might be an option, as the chairman said, but a brand new building adapted to all that with elevators and et cetera, for, you're not doing rehab as in spinal cord, wheelchair, that type, but you're doing a different type of rehab. So the rooms, the size, how those services fit into the size that you're proposing. Like I said previously, I know how scattered certain things are on that campus. I mean, I put out 4 fires on that campus, and
Thank you.
lost one building on that campus because it was built so old ago that you couldn't keep it.
The new building will also have better fire
Well,
suppression than the
We don't have to go
100-year-old
down. We
building.
don't have to go down that road. But so I think what you're hearing from all 4 of us is to have a more concise defining, because when you look at what you're appealing and what we're suggesting, it's more information, and information can both be positive or negative in the final determination. So I'll let the chairman what he wanted to adjourn.
I also
type thing.
graduated from NYU 40 years ago.
We do have a lot of people here who
Yeah.
may not be able to make it to the next meeting. We may need to give them an opportunity to speak.
Okay. I assume there's some people here against the application? Yeah, I want to point out one thing. We're only going to have a couple of people come up. I do not want somebody to repeat what the prior person said. So it has to be something entirely different. So if you have somebody now who wants to come up and represent, gentlemen, The one with the red here, then the other one goes second.
One last thing. Also, I would hope that the public will keep their comments focused on what this application is actually for and not more general comments about.
That's my
use.
job.
Thank you.
All right,
Work on that.
all right. Raise your right hand, sir.
Hold on one second.
Testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah, I just had a few questions about
Well, wait a minute, who are you, first of all?
Bruce DeFons.
Bruce what?
DeFons,
DeFons, and where do you live?
116 Milton Drive.
Okay.
I just had a few questions about if it's a 24-hour facility or 12-hour facility.
Well,
We're not in a position to answer questions.
what you could do is put your questions on the record, and then when the applicant comes back to speak later, hopefully they'll try and.
Because it's relevant. They're filing under a certain zone, and if it's 24 hours, then it's the wrong zone. It should be a impartial. Hold on one second. It should be an institutional residence and filed under the appropriate zoning, not the R20.
So hours of the facility, I'm trying to write down your questions.
The
here so I can
hours
try and
of,
get-
hours of the facility.
Okay.
That changes it from a day school to a institution, and that's not residential. And that would be framed incorrectly.
Okay.
Also, what's the split of medical, skinning the knee, or behavioral? Is it 10%, 40%, 90%, 50/50, 30/70? Those are all important questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, raise your right hand. My hand's getting tired. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you are?
My name is Ron Hamlin.
Okay, Ron Hammond.
Ron Hamlin. The only reason I want to say, I'm not here to ask...
Address?
14 Colonial Lane. I'm not here to make comments about, but I've worked in a lot of these facilities. I've volunteered in them. I understand what they are, and they're needed. No one's saying that anyone's going to give them grief or stop them. I think you should also have law enforcement involved. I think they're a part of the whole process too. And I think that there should be just an opportunity to make something as perfect as possible so it serves the residents and it serves the individuals who are getting the services there. But I think law enforcement should be brought into it. He's responding to fires all the time. There's a lot of fires up there. I worked on a lot of those fire systems about 5 or 6 years ago as a contractor. I'm pretty familiar with the whole environment and the whole thing there. And again, no one's saying they're not necessary, but they need to be done to promote the best possible result that we can get. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One more?
We can't limit it. We can't limit it.
There we go. Testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And you are?
Alda Rodriguez.
Your
And I-
address?
170 Carlisle Avenue in Thornwood.
Okay.
And I think from what I've been hearing and what, especially what's been going around, the concern we have, if that's able to go on, is essentially in today's age when every company that is out in the world is looking to reduce costs and to basically try to get as much savings as they can. When you're looking at refurbishing an existing building to make it compliant to what you need versus building a new building, you have to look at what's really going on. So that's where I think our concern is going, is once you build a building, that's great, but then what happens to those 2 buildings that are now currently being used? Right. I think from an economic perspective, if you look at refurbishing what you currently have, make it compliant to fit your needs, there's no need to build an additional building, which I think from what we've seen going on throughout the years within that school is, I think it's at its capacity. Building another building is only going to perpetuate the issues already there because you're now leaving 2 buildings open for other uses. And that's, I think, one of the things that a lot of residents have concern about.
See, one of the things you have to consider, if they, let's say, for example, they weren't going to put up a new building, and they're going to renovate an existing building, it's not a weekend project.
Agreed. Nothing
And-
is.
no.
Neil would be building.
So
a new
now it puts pressure, if you want to use that, on the facility to still take care of its students or patients, and at the same time try to renovate a building. Now, renovating a building is more expensive than building a new one, because you got to tear half the old building down to rebuild it into a more compliant.
Not necessarily. It depends on the
It is, trust me. It's
It
easier
has-
to dynamite the building and build a new one than it is to
in
renovate
certain circumstances. I agree.
all
with you. Not all.
90%, I'll give you that granted, okay? But the fact of the matter is, it does put extra burdens on it. And I think what we're trying to do now is just, as Mr. Leparto said, develop facts and not hearsay.
Agreed. And
So
what-
that's why we're asking them to come back. And at the same time, with what we have, what we know now, the plans of an existing building, and they have plans of the new building, that we can do a comparative analysis as to what's going on, how much is going to be used, like Mr. DeChico said, how much is used for therapy of that, it's therapy A, what's used for therapy B, what about offices for staff, all that has to be combined in together to make some sort of a decision. That's why we're not doing it tonight.
Agreed. But I
Okay.
think one of the issues, and I think someone had asked and they never got an answer, is if you have two existing buildings, which you're housing the services today, then you replace it and put it into a new one.
We
Right.
got an answer, they weren't sure.
Correct. They don't know what they're going to do with the remaining two buildings once they're emptied. That, I think, is a major concern, which all the residents are asking about. And from a fire perspective as well, you have now an additional building that has to be maintained between fire, police, and volunteer ambulance, of all of which we are aware of the strains that puts on the town.
I agree with you. The thing is, if they put up a new building, what are you going to do with the old building?
That is the.
Now, the old building would have to go through the process of the same that you'd have with the new building, meaning planning board approval, disapproval, so on. Police, fire, so that all goes back, starting all over again, just to do the renovations of an existing building. All right? But at this point in time, I think what we're trying to do, like I know I'm repeating myself, is to say that accumulating the information so that we can make a realistic decision as to what this application really should be approved or denied. That's what it comes down to. Maybe boring. It's like homework, but you better memorize it because you got a test the next day. Okay? All right?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. I don't know which way you're going. Okay. No, doesn't that go down?
I'm short.
Yeah, but
All right, there you go.
wear high heels.
Go ahead.
Okay. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
And you are?
My name is Linda Rentis. I live at 8 Sampson Drive in Pleasantville. I live across the way from the Pleasantville Cottage School. I've been living here for 38 years, and I've had numerous of occasions of interaction with the children that are there now, okay? I understand the use that they want to build this new building. We don't know what's going to happen with the old building. They can renovate, okay? They can renovate the old building to bring it up to standards to modernization. In the meantime, they can get mobilizations for whatever they need to do until they fix that. It's been done. They have done multiple renovations up there without building permits prior to this. So they have done renovations to multiple buildings there, okay, with the kids living there, whether they place them into another building, we don't know. All right? So the use, I understand. I think it's an excellent thing that we need to know what they're going to do with how big this new building is going to be, what they're going to do with the old building. And I wish the board would just consider this because
Okay.
we're not very happy with this.
All right. One more, please. Has anybody else?
You can't have a specific number.
Lady up front.
All right.
Hello.
That testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. I'm
You are?
Pamela Clark, and I live at 194 Jefferson Avenue in Thornwood.
Okay.
I just have a general question to the board here. What are the next steps? Because as I understand, about 250 notices went out. We all had to sign on for them. Are we going to get further notices on this subject and topic? So this is it, and then we just
They
have
don't
to...
have to renotice, no.
Okay. And I guess the only concern that I came here for was more about the property itself and the effects, water specifically, and the electric. On Jefferson Avenue, there's the, I always forget the name of it, but there's a transformer from our street that's right near it. And then we've had a lot of water problems in that area and came directly from JCC. So just not sure if this is the right venue.
This is not the right venue for
But
that.
that was something
least that
about
part's
the additional building and things like that. So thank you for your time.
I mean, you could address that to the town board and the building department, but that's not our venue.
Right, I wasn't sure, so that's why I just brought it
You
up.
can write to the building department.
Yeah,
And they tell them
they're
the
well
problem.
aware. But I just wanted to understand that. So just to follow this, it would be something that we would just have to look for the zoning meetings and that way.
The zoning meetings are the same time every month, so.
Okay.
And you'll get the date tonight, whatever the second Tuesday next month is.
Will it be on the agenda? Because I don't believe this
Second
was
Thursday, thank you.
specifically on the agenda.
Yeah, it's on the
This is on
agenda.
the agenda.
Okay,
It gets posted to the town site.
Okay.
And zoning meets every second Thursday of the month.
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Anyone else? Gentlemen?
Ma'am, the agenda's right there, and it's written on the agenda.
Yeah, the agenda's on it. It's on
All
the
you have to do is
agenda.
look for the attorney's name.
It's been on the website, I posted it on Monday. Yeah, it's on there.
Okay. Raise your right hand, sir.
Hello.
Testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes,
Your name
Daniel Longo,
and where do you live?
113 Nostrand Avenue.
Okay?
I just wanted to make a quick statement because you guys said we shouldn't really talk about the uses that much, but their whole argument was that the uses aren't going to change that much. And they referred to
I
this,
think they said not the use, I think they were saying that the youths, not.
say it again?
You could talk about the use.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I don't think that was ever said not to talk about the use.
Sure. They're talking about this 100-year-old building and that the, what it was built for and why it was built for the needs that were back in 1920 or 1925, let's say. The nature of the children that they're taking care of today has changed since 1925, and I don't see how you could build a new healthcare facility without upgrading it with new services to help those sorts of children. It's not the same kids from 1925 that they're helping today. Everyone in this room lives close enough. I live close enough to hear the kids that are trying to leave, that are trying to get out of the school, that are yelling and screaming. I've heard it before. Everyone here has heard it. I live close enough. So I don't see how you could take care of what used to be defined as maybe juvenile delinquents back in 1925 as today they might be described with kids with mental illness and actual issues that need different medical treatments to take care of. So I don't see how you could build a new building to replace a 100-year-old one, yet claim that how you're treating the kids hasn't really changed. It doesn't make any sense to me. Again, just the definition alone has changed, and I know the nature of the kids that they're taking care of today is different from 100 years ago.
See, I don't know what applications they use as far as medical
Fair
is
enough.
concerned. It's something that it's not a zoning board issue. The zoning board issue basically, what we say is, number one, is something that's self-created, 267B. 99% of the time it's self-created. Does it have an effect on your neighbor? Does it have an effect on your community? Is there a way you can still obtain the same application, what you want to do, but but make changes in order to accommodate. Like I always say, you're not going to get a whole loaf of bread. You may get half a loaf or 3/4, but you'll come home with something.
Sure.
And that's what our board does. We don't just stand here and say, you're denied. No rubber stamp. We listen to you. We try to figure out how we can accommodate you under the laws of the state of New York and in the town. That's our job.
I understand.
So actually, we're your friend more than, because the building inspector says, no, you have no other place to go but to us. And here we try to work with people.
Sure. And this is my first time attending something like this, and I figured that they would, that when you come to one of these things, you know the numbers. Like if I wanted to do something in my house, I would come here knowing the numbers, knowing the square footage. I understand that they're going to reconvene.
If you were doing something to your house, and let's say you want to put an addition on the house, but your side yard setbacks are wrong, you're going to have to come to us. Maybe we'll analyze it, we'll talk to you about it, and say, you know what, if we take 2 feet off of this instead of the full 8 feet that you want, you'll still get the additional space, but it alleviates some of the challenges on as far as the side yard setback. That's what we try to do.
Yeah, and typically you would have those numbers present
Yeah.
at this sort of meeting, because then the next step, if you guys vote yes,
Right,
would be.
But again, just to be clear, this is not an application for our typical area variance or something along those lines. Like, this is not somebody that wants to build a deck a little bit bigger than they're supposed to. This is a separate type of application who's appealing an interpretation of a building inspector's ruling about a definition of how to interpret a definition. So the factors do apply. We've asked for more facts about what they're built as it relates to the potential use of the property, but it is not the standard use area variance application here. This is a little bit different.
Gotcha. But if you guys were to green light it today, then what? Then they would have just gone on with.
Well, I don't think we
drawing
are,
a plan?
because I'm
just
coming
saying,
back.
like,
We've made it clear that we
They
need
still
more
have a
information,
hurdle
so.
going to the building, the planning department.
I got you.
There's other obstacles.
You're both
We're
state.
just making a
yeah.
decision.
You have state and
Understand.
local requirements for institutions, and they would have to come before the planning board to make, and then there may be modifications, come back to, it's a rather rigorous process, because this is not, like Westlake High School, we're gonna put an addition on the campus. No, we're not, this is something entirely different, and like Mr. DeChico said, what we're looking at here is to get a determination of analyzing what the building inspector says. You can't put a building up in an R20 zone, but analyzing what the application is and how it's going to be used. And that's what that's why we're not making a decision tonight.
Nope. Okay. Thank you. That's all I
Thank
have.
you.
Thank you.
Okay?
May I make a comment before we address any other questions or comments from the community? It looks like we're going to be keeping the public hearing open. So since we're not closing the public hearing, I just want to keep that in mind, that there will be additional opportunities for public comment, which may be especially more relevant when we get the more facts and numbers about the proposed new building at the next meeting. So.
I agree.
If there's no further, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this to the next meeting, be open to next month's meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Mr. Lopatos, Mr. DeChico.
Aye.
The chairman votes aye. So this application will be handed up next month.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
He said, he said he had another engine. The way he's walking, that's probably
Do you want to do the spa?
What?
Do you want to do the day spa, get them out of here?
It's already, oh, it's,
Just instead of doing make use of next, just do the day spa, get them out of there.
yeah, all right. I don't even see the day spoiler online. Oh. All right. We're gonna make a change in tonight's program.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next application here.
All right, we're going to do 2560, it's a quick one. 210 Marble Avenue Associates. Are they here?
Anybody here for 210 Marble Avenue?
Yeah. Her English is not good.
Great. Right. Raise your right hand.
Yeah.
Testimony you'll give will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Okay. 210 Marble Avenue Associates, is that a company that you own?
Yes.
Okay. And it's located at 200 Marble Avenue in Pleasantville.
Mr. Chairman, hold on a sec.
May I ask if you could close the door in the back in the hallway? Thank you. You could keep talking out there, just need you to please close the door. Thank you.
On the tax maps of the town of Mount Pleasant, it's 106.10-6-44. The application is for a special use permit for a massage establishment according to Town Code 218.63A. Massage establishments on a legal parcel of .25 acres in the CRN zone. Is there, what do you have there now? A nail salon?
No,
Or spa?
I do massage therapy.
Excuse me?
Massage therapy.
Massage, you have that now?
Yeah.
You do massage?
Yeah, I do massage therapy. I college. I learned. I
Okay.
have license.
So with the new application, the spa, what additional services are you going to offer in that spa?
She's nothing. She's the new owner.
Should he?
She's the new owner, so she's coming in for the first time as the new owner.
Oh, okay.
Just massages or?
Yeah.
Yes, so it's going to be massages, foot massage, back massage.
I know the food. I do deep tissue and the medical massage and the permanent and the sports massage.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. DeChico?
No questions, Mr. Chairman. I will note that we did do a site visit on the property. Things looked in order from what we could tell.
Okay. Mr. Dorr?
Thank you.
Just for the record, you just recently bought this and redid the facility? Was there a facility there before that was doing similar services, and now you've just rebought it?
Yeah, I do. I before clinic job. I before did
Okay.
do a lot long time ago, just clinic.
Just one question. Do you have any other massage establishments that you own and operate?
No.
This is the only one. This will be the first.
Yeah.
You never had one before now?
Yeah, I before Loin and Limbrook massage
you had one in
therapist.
Limbrook, Long
No,
Island?
I employed. I job.
Okay, you worked at an establishment like this in
Before.
Lynbrook. This is the first one you own?
Yes.
Are you the only one doing massages there, or?
Yeah, now only one. Maybe some people license have maybe two to get a job.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you so much.
Is there anyone here for or against this application? Do I have a,
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, if we go ahead and approve this, if she has other employees that come in, those licenses are needed to be brought to the town?
Right.
To put on record with the town that since you're only one licensed person, it's
Yeah,
only
now
one
only
license?
one, me, just
Okay.
me.
Okay.
With that said, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the special use permit for Z 2560.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. DeChico, Mr. Lapazos?
Aye.
All right, chairman votes aye. Good luck, congratulations.
Thank you so much, thank you.
Thank you.
Our final application for tonight is 2553. Mr. Philip Grimaldi. Make it quick. I'm dying on this vine, man. What? No. What?
So you gonna read it, or just want me to read it?
All right.
Want 5 minutes?
You want to take a motion?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask for a personal privilege break about 5 minutes for the board.
We'll take 5.
Okay.
All right. Do the mic. Okay. Mr. Mr. Grimaldi, you're the applicant for Edward Mancuso, the owner of
Yes.
the premises located at 9 Lakeview Avenue in Valhalla, correct?
Correct.
Designated on the tax map, Town of Mount Pleasant, 117.7-1-23.
Mhm.
This application previously appeared on the Zoning Board of Appeals in 2021.
Yes.
And it was application 21-36, which included approvals for lot width for Lot 3 and mean lot width for Lot 2. The application is for the proposed reconfiguration of 2 lots into 3, keeping the existing home on the legal parcel of 39,000 square feet in R10 zone. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, the variance was in question was the front yard, the front street, front, 25 feet required, proposing 18. There was a variance of about almost 7 feet.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, now, there was a determination by the judge. You've submitted a letter to the board.
Yes, here's the thing, I wasn't here, you want to swear me in, or?
No,
You don't have to. Oh, boy.
We're-
All right, so.
Lawyers, we don't do.
I wasn't here 5 years ago, so, but I read, obviously, I read all the transcripts and everything, and, you know, based on what I saw, I mean, I know it's late now, but I would like to make the presentation before the full board.
You want to adjourn to the next meeting when we have a full 5 room
Yes, I would,
entitled?
You're entitled to that.
well, you know, if I was a mind reader, you know, I would, I would do it tonight. You know, I mean, we've been here since 7, and I know, but you know, I also want to do what's best for my client, what I think is what's best for him, and
We're awake. I mean, we're fully
We're here.
alert and prepared to hear your application. We're not going to cut you off. We're not going to cut you
I
short.
understand that, but
There's people that are here waiting
Right.
to make comments. so.
right, well, again, you know, I know that there's one person here, unless you want to keep it open for the next one. You know, I try to keep my presentation short because I wrote everything in my letter.
But you understand that the absent member today wouldn't be permitted to vote if we have material placed on the record today. She wouldn't be present for the entire presentation.
Well, she could review it.
That's up to the discretion of the chairman, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Well, you know, this thing has had a tortured past, and again, you know, I didn't realize the first application was going to go as long as it did. So, you know, again, I want to do what's right for my client.
Well, the thing here, I know you're representing your client. We also have people that came here tonight, and they could be home watching television or doing something else, and they waited all of this time to hear you speak.
I understand that.
So the question here is, as a courtesy to the people that spent the time to come here, I think it would be a good judgment on your part to present what you have to say based on your letter. You can always adjourn.
That's fine. I mean, I could do that. I'll make my presentation. It's going to be brief because everything's in my letter, but I would just like you to keep it open so the 5th member could participate as well, maybe at the next hearing.
That's fine. I'll go along with that.
Okay, so, what, is that not?
No,
Well, actually,
various thoughts, but
you know, well, the thing I wanted to add is, I guess, Mr. DeChico thinks like the appellate division, or the appellate division thinks like Mr. DeChico, because reading that determination, they basically said, well, you know, how can you approve the lot but deny the frontage? And going through the transcripts 5 years ago, I recall Mr. DeChico saying, after that happened, do you realize what you just did? It kind of doesn't make any sense.
I might not have used those exact words.
Well,
but
it was something to that effect. I have the transcript here, but So we approved the lot, but we denied the frontage. And I think the application or the hearing has to be limited to why that frontage should be denied in light of the fact that you approved the lot. And I think that's a determination that I think is virtually impossible to make. I mean, I set forth in my memo here as to why you should approve it. You know, it's not really a substantial variance because 8 or 9 feet in, it conforms to what's there. I have a letter from an engineer who also couldn't be here tonight, basically saying that it's safe for emergency vehicles, it's not out of character with the neighborhood. I have pictures of 4 houses on Colonial where the driveways are closer than what we're proposing. You know, well, you see, it's not true, but, you know, in any way, the driveway issue is a planning board issue, it's not a zoning board issue, and it doesn't really have to do with frontage. So, you know, and again, I looked at the determination of the appellate division. In the case they cited, Gabriel Realty versus the ZBA, the Village of Freeport. I didn't put that in my submission, but basically, conclusory findings of fact are insufficient to support a determination of the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is required to clearly set forth how and in what manner the granting of the variance would be improper. And that's something that with the frontage that you didn't really do in this case. So, again, I also have a submission in there, although I don't think, you know, again, the board already determined that the lot was acceptable. It's not going to have a detrimental impact to the neighborhood. But one member felt that the frontage was inappropriate. And again, it's a matter of trying to reconcile those two things, which the appellate division couldn't do, and I guess they're asking this board to do that. And again, I don't think it's possible. And so, you know, that's really all I have to say at this point. You know, the determination, I guess, is when it was made was it was dangerous, it was unsafe, which it isn't. And I think I mentioned that in my letter. It's out of character with the neighborhood. It really isn't. It isn't. Okay, so he's going to keep interrupting me, and that's fine. And
Can't have any comments from the gallery.
Okay, and again, you made the determination when you approved the lot that it's not going to have any detrimental impact on the neighborhood. It's just a matter of the frontage. And the whole thing was, it's too close, and I showed you there are other lots, other driveways that are even closer. There was a comment about, you know, emergency vehicles, and that's not the case here. We had an engineer who will be here at the next meeting, and he could, you know, elaborate further upon that. So again, you know, I know the neighbors are against this. You're going to hear about traffic and whatever. That's not relevant tonight. It's just the whole frontage issue and why you feel that it can't be approved in light of the, basically the approval of the lot width variance that created Lot 3.
Wasn't there, I can't go back that far, but wasn't there a problem with sight distance and the driveways being too close?
Well, I just mentioned that, and again, that's a planning board issue, and I think one member here tonight said that was Mr. DeChico said it's a planning board issue. But, you know, even you said, Mr. Presner, I remember your quote vividly, when you're pulling out of a driveway, you look, okay? That's a quote that you made. Now, we also offered to do a K-turn where the cars could come forward, and we could angle it away from the neighbor's driveway. We have enough room to do that. You know, the pictures don't lie. The pictures show the proximity of the driveways in that neighborhood.
Mr. Grimaldi,
Yeah.
just if I may, while I think I would agree in part and disagree in part with your summary of the appellate division's decision. So my takeaway from that is, yes, one aspect is essentially they said in their decision that the board needed to essentially provide more detail as to why we made, as a board, the decision we made. One aspect of that, in my view, was to reconcile why one variance was being granted but not the other. But in my view, that wasn't the only thing that they had said, that they were also giving the board the ability to clarify either separately or independently the variance that wasn't granted for the frontage in and of itself. So I don't think that that's the only issue that the board left open for this board now to further analyze and
I wouldn't disagree with you, but it does specifically mention, you know, that the board did approve the other variance for the third,
yes,
the
that
third
was,
lot.
that was a component of something that they mentioned that they were presumably or seemingly seeking more clarity on, or felt that the board in the written decision was not clear enough to reconcile that. That was one thing that they did mention. I don't believe that was the whole kit and caboodle necessarily, in my view.
Well, again, it wasn't really a long decision, but you know, it's kind of rare to get a reversal. But again, you know, I didn't really see anything in the determination of this board that basically said that this frontage is dangerous, or that facts to back that up. It was said, it was stated,
But I guess
We're going to do a
my
better
question
job
is,
this time. We're
we-
going to make a much better
Right.
record this time.
But
and
are
that's what the appellate
we
division
need
asked
to
us to do.
re-examine the facts as it is, as if it's a new application now, to really understand what the arguments are for the frontage or not.
Okay, I don't think you have to treat it as a new application. You've already ruled on the variances, so it's just really this one. And again, I would like the opportunity to come back with my engineer and with the fifth member of the board, so that we could make our case as well. And
Okay, so should we have the community members speak then, and then we can give them an opportunity to hear?
Prior to you guys, what about a solution of looking into an easement to get to that third lot?
Yeah, I was just going to mention
Well,
that.
again,
Since you're coming back and you're having an engineer, give it some thought.
so you're talking about the easement coming in from Lakeview and going in the back. Is that what you're talking about? Well, again, it's something I would have to discuss with my client,
Well,
but I don't.
exactly, since you're coming back,
Well,
you can discuss
I
it.
don't think the planning board favors, because we still have to go to the planning board, and I don't think they're gonna favor something like that when we already have the access, and we already have the curb cut in the back. You know, and it seemed to me that the real opposition, Mr. Dorr, was not really the driveway as much as the house. And the house is on a lot, the proposed house is 16,000, is on a 16,000 square foot lot. So whether it comes in from Lakeview or it comes in from Colonial, I think the neighbor's still gonna be against that.
But at least you wouldn't have a non-conformity that you have to fight against.
Well,
Right now, you have a,
We would need to let one speaker at a time.
Well, I'm not sure of that, because we wouldn't have any frontage then really on lot 3, because
I mean, for the easement that you haven't yet.
I don't know if the easement could provide frontage, but.
Exactly,
That's why
but
I'm
it's
giving
worth
you.
finding out.
You can
Right,
research
but-
it and come back.
Right, but again, we think this is the most feasible solution.
Okay,
Because,
we'll allow you to be heard, absolutely.
And-
And I know you don't want to present the facts tonight, you want to wait till your engineer's here.
Yeah.
So let's give these community members a chance to
That's
speak.
fine.
You'll
That's
have
fine.
a
And
full
that's-
fair opportunity next week.
And that's my point, is you have an opportunity to present the merits of your application as to why it should be granted or not, and maybe you could convince the boards, because all I've heard tonight is, and I know you didn't want to give a full application, but I would think you'd want to present more than just saying the decision is irreconcilable, so therefore you have to change it. So-
yeah, I mentioned it in my briefs
Yeah.
again, and I did mention it in the letter why we feel the frontage is appropriate. And I think, I did go over it, I don't want to repeat it, it's in the letter, but, yeah, we would like to bring our engineer, it's Dr. Greeley, he actually has an office right here, and he could elaborate more.
And go through the merits of the application.
That's one of the things I want to point out with site engineers and whatnot. We had an application on Bradhurst. They were going to put up a nursery landscape business. And the state of New York said, oh, you can use the existing driveway for the project, which was on a sharp curve. And even Ray Charles would deny it. That's how bad it was. And that was the state's approval. So we wound up turning around and saying, I'm sorry, we can't approve the application where it is because of the site distances were unacceptable. And I don't want to, as board chairman, and I'm sure the members of my board say, I'm not going to approve anything where someone gets hurt.
And that's fine. And like I said, our engineer did mention site distances, and I could show you your quote where you said when you're pulling out of a driveway, you look. So again, we don't want to do anything that's dangerous, and it's not dangerous, but we'll come back with the engineer and
that would be good.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I would like to hear from.
Now, again, you could come again on the next meeting, just so you know. You can come again and be heard again.
This meeting was already adjourned from December.
The appellate court is ruled, I don't understand.
Guys, one at a time.
Let me take, so, raise your right hand, sir. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes,
so
it
help
is.
you God. And you are.
Nick Cachola. I live at 11 Colonial Lane.
Okay.
First, before I speak, I'd like to apologize for speaking out earlier. I'm sorry. Couple of things. The representation for 9 Lakeview misspoke because I don't have a problem with the 3 lots. I don't have a problem. You agreed to that. I have a problem with the frontage of Colonial Lane. If you want to check the transcript that Mr. Grimaldi referenced multiple times, the architect that was here 4.5 years ago referenced a shared driveway. So we could check that transcript, talking about there's driveways on Colonial Lane that are closer. That's just inaccurate. I have pictures that my sister will bring up shortly, proving that. They actually drive over our property to get to this illegal driveway, however you want to term it. So I have a petition here signed by 21 community members, all residents of Colonial Lane. Do you want that?
Yes.
We're citing, to deny this variance. Once again, they have the property. It was agreed upon 4.5 years ago to zone it into 3 lots. Great. If Mr. Mancuso would like to build 2 other homes there, I have no problem with that. I have a problem with the frontage. It's 25 feet required. Once again, I'll pull up some pictures in a little bit. They have 18. They're 7 feet short, which is about 30%, which is a significant number. What? I know. I have something prepared that I'd like to read to you. Good evening, my name is Nick Cachola, and I live directly beside the property of 9 Lakeview Avenue at 11 Colonial Lane. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my 78-year-old mother, who has resided here for 5 decades, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, and my community. I'm here to make one thing absolutely clear. This frontage variance is completely unjustified, self-serving, unsafe, and damaging to the neighborhood, and it should be denied without hesitation, just as it was 4.5 years ago. The frontage has not changed, the zoning laws have not changed, and the ruling from August 12, 2021 of denying this variance should not change either. They can access their 3rd lot from Lakeview Avenue, which was stated earlier through the easement by Mr. Dorr. Once again, I have no problem with them building, but they can access all 3 lots from Lakeview Avenue. I'm going to be very blunt. This variance request is not about hardship. It's about pushing the limits of what someone thinks they can get away with. First, there is nothing unique about this lot that forces a variance. The only reason this request exists is because the owner wants to do something the zoning code simply does not allow. That is the textbook definition of a self-created hardship. And New York law could not be any clearer. You do not reward someone for creating their own problem. This so-called hardship is a direct result of a decision made by the owners of 9 Lakeview Avenue, and therefore it is self-created. Secondly, let's talk safety. As you said earlier, Mr. Chairman, you are not going to approve anything that would endanger the safety of the community. There are real safety concerns because Colonial Lane is a sought-after cul-de-sac. It has increased pedestrian activity. Children play and bike on this street all the time, walk dogs, walk to bus stops, friends' homes, and they play outside. Any reduction in frontage creates more blind spots, more conflict points, more congestion, and more danger. The residents of 9 Lakeview Avenue are actively using this curb cut illegally to access their property. They were told 4.5 years ago it's not a driveway, and they have been illegally using it. Driving directly over my driveway, which I will show you pictures of proof. That in and of itself is a real safety concern. I live here. I would hope that the safety of me, my family, and my neighbors is as important to all of you as it is to me. You are required to consider safety impacts, and in this case, the evidence points squarely towards denial. Third, this variance would clearly and visibly alter the character of our neighborhood. Frontage requirements are not minor technicalities. They control spacing between homes, density, and privacy. Reducing frontage disrupts the established pattern of development that our zoning code is specifically designed to protect. Everyone else on Colonial Lane has respected that code. Everyone else has played by the rules. This property owner is asking for a private exception that benefits them and harms everyone else around them. 21 people signed the petition. This property owner is asking for a private exception, and it affects me especially as the abutter. I'm not going to be quiet while someone tries to rewrite the rules for their own convenience. And let's talk about property value. There will be an undeniable decline in the value of our home as well as all of the homes on Colonial Lane. Colonial Lane will no longer be a sought-after cul-de-sac. It will be an overcrowded, unsafe street. Fourth, this request is also substantial, not minor, and granting it would set a damaging precedent. Remember, 30%, almost 30% short frontage. If you approve this, you are effectively telling every property owner in this town, go ahead, push the limits. The code doesn't matter. Why have them? And if this happens, we will lose the character, the spacing, and the safety that define this neighborhood. Let's explain exactly what this variance means to me personally. It pushes structures, noise, traffic, and actively closer to my home. It invades my privacy, changes the sightlines of my property, and takes away the spacing and character that made Colonial Lane worth investing in 5 decades ago. This is not the same abstract planning concept. This affects my daily quality of life and safety in a very real and permanent way. I would be fearful for my mother to walk to the end of our driveway to get the mail. This is unacceptable. And I will say this plainly. If you approve this variance, you are taking responsibility for your safety risks that it may create. You will be knowingly permitting a change that increases danger on a street where children play every single day. This is not a small decision, and it should not be taken lightly. In summary, there is no valid hardship. The so-called hardship is self-created. The variance is substantial. It directly harms my property. My safety, my family's safety, and the safety of others who actually live on Colonial Lane will be compromised. It undermines the character and stability of Colonial Lane, and it sets a terrible precedent for this entire area and community. For those reasons, and because the safety of the residents and children on this street should outweigh one property owner's convenience, I strongly urge you to deny this frontage variance in full, as you did 4.5 years ago in August of 2021. Thank you. There's a member, Mr. Carpentieri, who's not here right now. He sent me a letter and asked me to read it on his behalf. Do I have that permission to do that?
You could submit the letter if you want.
You
I
can
could
submit
read
it.
it.
You can submit it.
Like,
Submit it to the zoning board.
I have it on in a.
Type.
You can email it to me.
Email it to Mrs. McGrath.
Do you want me to email it to you right now, or?
Do it tomorrow morning.
Do you-
Okay, well, because can I read it and email it?
Yes. No,
Wait a minute.
George is saying yes, he can read it.
You want to read it out loud and then also do the...
Would you like to read it? I could give you my
Go
phone.
ahead. This way the people at home who are watching,
Yeah.
they can also benefit from having an opportunity here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I just didn't know the parameters. To the Mount Pleasant zone. Take my glasses off. It's funny.
Say who it's from again?
It's from Anthony and Linda Carpentieri. They live on Colonial Lane, 7 Colonial Lane. 7, correct? Yes, okay.
It's the first house when you make the right turn.
Correct. Yes. My name is Anthony Carpentieri. My wife, Linda Carpentieri, and I reside at 7 Colonial Lane in Valhalla. We are neighbors with the Cachola family. We have lived on Colonial Lane for more than 35 years. Linda and I are not in favor of granting a variance for the additional entryway on Colonial Lane. To give you a little background, we moved from Leroy Avenue, also in Valhalla, to Colonial Lane back in 1990, primarily for 2 reasons. 1, Colonial Lane's beautiful landscape and design, including the privacy afforded by its cul-de-sac. 2, the safety that the cul-de-sac provides for children to do children things, like riding bicycles, playing tag, etc. If this variance is granted, the 2 reasons that prompted Linda and I to move to Colonial Lane will be rendered meaningless. Nick Cachola has shared his rationale, myself, for opposing this variance with Linda and I. We agree with Nick and his family's assessment. In addition, I would like to highlight that any new home construction will also result in an undue burden, not only for the proposed additional entryway on Colonial Lane, but also for any construction on Colonial Lane. As you are likely aware, there is limited to no parking on Lakeview Avenue, thereby resulting in the overuse of Colonial Lane for business that has nothing to do with the residents of Colonial Lane. It is hard to imagine the adverse impact that the construction of 2 new homes will have on this quaint block. Thank you, Anthony Carpentieri, and I will forward that to you tomorrow, or tonight rather. Also, this meeting was already adjourned from last month. I feel as Mr. Grimaldi should have been more prepared. He's mentioning an engineer and all these things. We should not be continuously adjourned. This was already decided 4.5 years ago by all of you here. So I don't understand. I don't understand why this would even be considered to be adjourned again. They've had ample time to be prepared. I did my due diligence. My family has done their due diligence. I don't understand. It's not like they got an email today that this was happening today. So to afford them the benefit of an adjournment is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They had ample time to prepare, and that's my opinion. Once again, this was adjourned from last month. We were supposed to meet in December. Now it's January. So I would like to have a vote tonight.
Well, to be honest with you, there's not going to be a vote tonight for several reasons. Number 1, we have due process.
Okay.
And due process is, just as you explained your positions and everything else, Mr. Grimaldi has to produce witness or whatnot for his claim. So what we have to do, we do a balancing act
I'm
here.
sorry, but didn't he know that this was going to be?
That makes no difference.
Okay, but why, I'm not,
Maybe the guy had to go to another business meeting in California. We don't know. The fact of the matter, the man couldn't be here. So as an accommodation, we do this with all...
Okay, I respect that response.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With all applications, we do accommodations. What I've learned in all the years I've been on this zoning board, and one of the things I've learned as chairman of the zoning board is whoever comes before us gets equal dignity.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I
equal
respect that.
dignity, equal process, and so on, so that when we make a determination, we know that we did the right thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry, sir, I can't pronounce your last name.
Lapazis.
Lapazis. You stated earlier to Mr. Grimaldi that if he spoke tonight, or whatever the proper terminology is, the fifth member wouldn't be able to, can you just clarify that for me?
Subject to the chairman's approval, if they reviewed all the minutes from today's meeting and they were in a position to develop sufficient familiarity with the proceedings, the chairman could allow that member to sit and vote after hearing, again, the new evidence that comes out at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you for that.
What we have
clarity.
found, what I have done, is if you're not present, you can't vote.
Got it.
All right? That's why we have a 5-member board. As I explained tonight, we had a 4-member board. 2 members decide not to vote positive on the application, application is denied.
Correct.
If you have 3 members, like, if I, let's say I recused myself, then I got 3, 1 member has to just say no, and that's a process. Unfortunately, I play the game, I don't make the rules.
I understand.
Right.
So now, just for clarity, so are we, so you already mentioned we're not voting tonight?
No.
Okay. So now, the next month will be another meeting?
You would be notified.
You'll be notified?
Mr. Right. Let's say, for
You're
example,
going to be notified tonight of the next meeting.
They don't re-notice.
The town will post it. You won't get a personal
Got it,
notification.
so we'll check.
You'll have to check.
So it may be
burden will on-
February, it may not.
Correct.
Got it.
We'll anticipate right now
Got it.
that it'll be February, but
Okay.
until it appears on the agenda, that's not final.
Got
So
it.
you should do your due diligence to check.
Absolutely,
And-
I am all over this.
Just so you know,
Yep.
there won't be any requirement that the applicant notice you for the next meeting date. There won't be any opportunity for the
Got it,
town
got it.
to
I'll
provide
be
you notice.
checking regularly,
So
yep.
it'll be on.
Now, will the 5th person will they be part of the vote, or will it still be the 4 that are
now
present
they're
tonight?
part of the vote,
They will be,
because we'll go over.
because
the-
you'll review the minutes and
Exactly.
the transcriptions. Okay.
Right.
I have some pictures that I'd like to show. Does my sister have to be sworn in as well, or can she just hand them to me?
Just hand them to you. Yes.
Is it worth doing all of this now, or is it worth waiting until the actual hearing?
This is the actual
Yes,
hearing.
everything that you're saying now counts. But it's not the only opportunity you would have to speak. You could speak again at the public hearing that's going to be continued on a future date, probably in February, but check and make sure. But you could still be heard at that time, because there's going to be a bunch of new material that the applicant is going to put on the record. They're going to have potentially an engineer speak. That engineer is going to make certain statements. So there's going to be new things introduced, and you may want to speak to those. So this isn't your only opportunity.
So I'm gonna use today's opportunity.
Mr. Grimaldi did not make his full presentation tonight, so that's something to consider.
You still have to swear her in when she's coming up.
Testimony about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And you are?
Michelle Pachola, 11 Colonial Lane.
Okay.
So you can see here, this is our driveway here. This is our drive, and this is a little curved, I apologize. This is our driveway, this is our property line here. I believe we have 18 inches into this grass area here. This is the curb cut, which should have never been cut. It's an illegal curb cut. We actually have emails and phone calls into the FOIL request to the permit that was never given to cut this curb. But, yeah, go ahead.
I submitted a FOIL request. that
If
has
you're going to
not-
speak, I'm sorry, you're going to have to be sworn in.
She was.
Oh, okay, good.
I submitted
Yeah,
a FOIL
maybe.
request that
Yeah.
has not yet had a formal answer. The short answer was that there was no permit found immediately upon examination. there are 30 days where I should be getting a response, but as of now, there is no formal permit, and that means that this driveway is being utilized illegally.
You can see the dirt tracks here of them driving literally over our property. This is from work trucks that they use for their business.
Well, what is that picture taken from?
Pardon me?
When is that picture taken?
I don't know the date of that picture.
Is it
Probably
recent,
April.
within the last few months, last few years?
Probably within the probably last summer,
Last summer?
yes.
I have a picture of it.
No, we've been there on multiple site visits recently.
This picture, yeah, there's been a lot of clearance that was done over there. This picture is taken from our doorbell camera, which shows a car driving on our driveway
Over the
into
driveway.
the back of 9 Lakeview Avenue. This, I hope, is the most impactful picture. This is a picture taken from the town of Mount Pleasant. It's an aerial, it's a tax map picture. It's a screenshot. And what is highlighted in alternating green, yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow are the current frontages of the homes that are currently built on Colonial Lane, starting at 7 Colonial Lane, 11, 13, 14 Colonial Lane, 12 Colonial Lane, 10 Colonial Lane, and 8 Colonial Lane. And you can see the frontage here. This is almost 77 and a half feet. There's more that goes up towards Colonial Lane here. This is our home here, 81 feet, and so on. I don't have to read.
Well, why don't you just read all the numbers into the
Yeah,
record?
68, 54, 67, 41, plus 22, so 63. 41, there's another number here that was cut off. This is 7, which their frontage goes at least another 100 feet up towards Lakeview Avenue. So once again, I'll see the numbers again. About 78 plus another at least 120 if I had to estimate. 81, 68, 54, 67, 63, 41 plus another number which was cut off, so let's call it 50, which is probably greater. And here, go ahead.
The requested frontage here, the variance is only for 18 feet. So just from a visual perspective, how can that not possibly be
How
the
can
same?
that ever be approved based on the standard that's been set?
So to think that that would not alter character, that would not impact safety. I'm a nurse. Safety is a tremendous part of my life. That is a huge safety risk.
Can we keep that?
Sure.
Keep it, or you could take
Nope, this is yours. I'll make another one.
pictures and.
Nope.
You don't want?
No.
Send
I
us
mean,
a-
that says it all.
You could send us a picture.
No, it's fine.
I can send you a picture.
I just don't want to bend it because it's.
Okay, so if you prefer a picture, no
Well,
problem.
the thing is, it's high quality paper. I don't want to bend it and crease it, so it's better.
Okay, I'll send it.
We'll send it to the board.
It would be just as beneficial on digital.
We're just asking that you stay with the decision that was made 4.5 years ago. Nothing has changed.
Okay.
Nothing has
Okay, very good. Thank you for your
Guess we'll see you in a
presentation.
month or two.
Thank you for your presentation.
Okay. Any questions for us at all?
No, not.
No?
No.
Okay, thank you for your
Again,
time.
you're free to attend the next meeting.
Oh, I'll be here. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for allowing us to speak. Like, I know you mentioned that we were here for a few hours, so thank you.
You have to understand, it's your privilege to speak at the board, before this board, when you're recognized to speak. And that's what's important. Everybody in this community has equal share in good
Yes,
things and bad.
yes, and I thank you for that.
So,
And Ron did apologize for.
I just got a little excited. How many adjournments do we have to go through before we come up with a conclusion?
I really don't know. I'll tell you. I think the longest I've ever had in my time as chairman, I'd say 4.
What are we up to now?
What?
Oh, we're up to 2? Okay.
Yeah. But that's not, it's not saying 4 is the limit. I'm just saying,
No, I understand.
yeah.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman?
You
wanna do it?
Done with the business? I'm sorry.
I was going to make the motion that, based on no further testimony on this application, that we adjourn it to the next meeting.
Second by Mr. DeChico. Mr. Levatos?
Aye.
Aye.
And based on that,
Chairman votes
Mr.
aye.
Chairman, I make a motion, we close the meeting.
Yes. Chairman votes yes.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody.